I want to track now to like look. You can also give guys early ball. I think when I think of an attacking style, you're always thinking of set plays, guys hitting the line at speed, decoy runners. But sometimes it's great to just see guys get early ball and let them cook pretty much. And Leka Halasima's one of those, and we've got a few others in Leotoa that can do that. But Heath, what do you make of the young guys and their progression? As was Webby right, obviously, to hold them back a little bit? It's obviously looking like that was the right call. And are they ready to maybe take that next step forward? I mean, we saw Leka get a starting role, look pretty good, scored a try, or are we still a little bit too early for their progression? What would you say?
No, I think Webby's timed it perfectly. I think Mitch Barnett has said in the past 2 press conferences that the young boys are the ones leading the way. It's the old boys that are not doing everything that they should be doing. I mean, the standards are higher and the expectations are higher around the older boys, and we obviously don't know exactly who he's referring to there. It could be multiple people, could be, whoever. But these young boys, the energy that they bring, like I get Payne Haas vibes with Leka Halasima when I see him run. Just the strength, the sort of like, I don't mean to swear, but just get the fuck off me when someone tries to tackle him. The acceleration from a standing start. Honestly, I look at Dimitri Vayamunga and I'm like, geez, I don't notice him as much. And when I do, it's actually not him. It's Leka Halasima because I get them mixed up because they look so similar on the field. But actually, yeah. Dimitri is developing at a perfectly normal, if not impressive rate. It's just that we're seeing a Payne Haas type player. I don't want to put too much pressure on him with that label, but the way he's playing is, you name one Warriors fan out there that's not probably more excited than any other junior that they've seen come through since maybe SJ or something like that about Leka Halasima. It's just phenomenal. And Leotua probably would have been the one that I said, like, he's the one that I'm most excited about. He's the one that I've been most excited about for the last few years. He's been outshone by Leka's rapid rise.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's the alternative? Start Bunty in some of these games? It's the progression's perfect in my mind.
They're ready to go. Yeah. You want to add any thoughts onto that? Maybe even about Laban, your thoughts around Laban, Ash? He is listed there in the 17. Is he starting to make a step up as well, or where's what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Laban's really, continuing on his, if you watch majority in his cup, because obviously we've only get to see a touch of him in first grade now this year. I think defensively he's really fixed up a lot of those areas, if we're going back to New South Wales Cup. But, if you watch New South Wales Cup, you're going to tell how much of a juggernaut he is in Cup at the moment, especially as you touched on, just to give him a little bit early ball and let him kind of go. I think, their progression will continue to come when they hit that beautiful line, Laban and stuff, with his size and strength, if he can cut on a line, which, I don't want to go back. I wax lyrical about Leka Halasima week in, week out, bro. Like, honestly, I'll touch on Leka too. I've watched, and I'm not going to put this label on him either, right? Because I don't want to put too much, craziness on him. But then again, we all love him. But I watched the debut game. I watched the debut game of Sonny Bill Williams the other day. Just over again. I just watched the review and I was just like, oh my God. And incredible. He played center. He was just fucking dominating, line break central, left, right, and center. And I'm not saying he's Sonny Bill, right? He's not 6'3", this incredible, he's got an incredible offload and all that to him, but he's not Sonny Bill in that sort of sense. But he's got the same sort of feel to where whenever he touches the football, it's kind of just lights your eyes up. You kind of be all right, this kid's just got something special to him. And, as I continue to say, bro, he's got that Jeremiah Nanai skill set, but he's got the aggression to go with it. And he just doesn't care. He really will take it to any contest. And I'm excited for that. But back on Laban, I think the more time, seeing now he's in that 17 jersey, whether he continues to hold that for week in, week out would be good to see. I think Webby's slowly drip feeding these boys into really good experience, not underperforming sides. Now they're starting to go really well and under fish and stuff. I think he's kind of doing it in the right way. Vai Mwanga is definitely, as Key said, he's going about his work. He's progressing really well as well. And I think I've been really just happy to see his progression in minutes over time as well. They're starting to get a lot more courage in these boys. 34 minutes for Dimitri. Leka had 69 starting over the weekend, and Laban 27 to end the game there. To start the season, a lot of people were worried about the 18-minute game of Leka and all that. These boys are getting more minutes now, and people should look look at that and see how we're drip feeding these boys in, and we're going to see a lot more of them in the future.
We sorry to interrupt. One last comment is a few of the fans, including myself, raised an eyebrow when Zion was let go to the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Because I thought Zion was like basically ahead of Lecker and Dimitri. Like depending on sort of who you spoke to, he was there or thereabouts. And now I sound like an idiot. I look like a fool when I say that. Because you see how Lecker and Dimitri are going, and Webby would have seen that Webby would have saw that as well. And I think the comment about the sort of 17 minutes is probably more aptly applied to Zion. You know, he's all sort of like powerful runs, but if everyone played 17 minutes, you know, you need 4 players for that one position.
Exactly.
15 interchanges. No, look, you guys got a great point. I want to touch now on the forward pack, and look, coming up against a Carrigan and a Haas, we seem to quell or nullify them. We had energy. Bunty's looking in great form. We've got, the young boys, as we said. Like, was it conditions, or was Brisbane off, or are we actually legit? I mean, we're a hard working forward pack. We understand it. What do you guys make of that forward battle? Because I mean, they had their moments, we had ours, but yeah, what do you make of the forward battle? I'll chuck that at you, Ash, maybe just to start off.
Yeah. I think like the conditions kind of spoke to it in a way of like this game had to be sort of one in the middle. And I'll give it to the Broncos. Like the Broncos forward pack is probably the best 1-2 punch in the competition, front row of like talent wise. Like these two of like Payne Haas and Paddy Carrigan, those guys, and they had incredible moments in the game. I'm pretty sure they both got over like the 160 mark. I'll go for the stats just quickly here. Paddy Carrigan got 195 meters in this game, and Payne Haas 219. But other than that, every other aspect of their forward pack got nullified like very well. Like even Xavier Willison, like, the Broncos trying to start him on an edge to try and catch us out on the edge at that point there too. I thought that we handled him really well. I think the defensive work for like even a guy like Wade Egan to make, Xavier Willison cough up the ball a couple of times in that contest, and Erin Clark stepping up to the plate, especially in the attacking side of things as well, getting his 160 and 53 post contact. I think it's just like we're a very hard-working forward pack. When we have everyone together, like Jackson Ford hasn't put really a foot wrong too much this year. He's had a couple of errors more so in the last couple of games, but I think for a majority of the season so far, he's been really, really good. I wouldn't say that, we dominated or anything, the Broncos forward pack, but I think that we nullified, the rest of everything else and did what we could against Payne Haas and Paddy Carrigan and came out with it at the end of the day. So very, very happy how we defended as a unit there. Like Mitch Barnett, every shot that Mitch Barnett put on in that contest was noticeable. Like he really was imposing himself onto the contest, saying, boys, like, come with me and I'll show you the way. And off the back of that, like Erin Clark, as I continue to go back onto, like for him to come into that 13 jersey after what we've lost, and for him to do what he's doing, I couldn't be more happier, and I couldn't thank the Titans even more for letting us have this man, come back home. When I heard that he was coming back home, I was like, oh, that's just a rumor. See how it goes. But bro, I'm just so happy to have that man in that 13 jersey, and he's really picking up the slack that we lost with Tohu, and that not so much of Tohu, what he's not becoming Tohu, but he's doing it in his own way, and I'm very, very happy to see it.
Yeah, what did you guys think when we first signed Erin Clark? We let Jazz go, or the news that we were letting Jazz go. It was a similar time. What were you guys' first impressions of that signing?
I loved it. I knew it wasn't like for like in terms of Jazz been more of a utility prop, a line, hard running forward, and I knew that Erin would be more in the middle as a ball playing lock kind of. But I didn't see it to that level. Like, what was my thoughts? I thought he'd be like off the bench, or we had Walker, we had other options at that time. Thought he was still, but I saw him as a good impact forward. Yeah, what about yourself, Ash?
Yeah, you saw like little moments of this with the Gold Coast Titans, but not to this level. And I never thought the Gold Coast gave him the ability to become a middle forward. They always fiddled around with him playing hooker. They switched around and him coming off the bench and stuff. I think Webby's given him a lot of a lot of trust to get out there and go play his game, especially after that first Raiders game where I really feel like we should have just ran him out there in front of the Raiders. And not to say he would have changed the game at all, but it's just showing that, week in, week out, his leadership's really stepped up. Like, I'm probably back onto Levon. Like, when we saw him and Jazz kind of move out, it was kind of like, I was like, we're just going for the younger Jazz, if that makes sense. Like, he gives a lot of what Jazz gives, and I kind of saw him in that sort of sense. I was like, yeah, he'll be good to, fill the void and, continue us on. But to do what he's doing now, he's like doing that and more. And he's taking over, like, everyone says about when Adam was going to leave us, he was going to take away our post-contact meters.
Yeah.
He's going to take AFB meters, and he's kind of like helping a little bit of that in that sort of aspects. He's consistently getting 150 to 160 per week at NRL.com stats, and he's at 50 post-contact meters per week as well. That's not Adam Fanor-Blake numbers, but that's helping lessen the bleed in that area to where the whole team's lifting. So I didn't expect this, but I'm so happy to see it.
Yeah, me too. I think one of our listeners, Jared, says that Erin Clark is just one of the best signings of the year. I did not expect that. And he has. He has been. Jared's right.
Agreed.
Like, I did not expect this level of energy, ball playing skills, post-contact meters. He's surprised me in a very pleasant way.
Yeah, no, you bang on. Yep.
Off the back of that, like, we've seen him in a Kiwis jersey, but we've never seen this level out of him in a Kiwis jersey. He's been to that level before. He's just, I don't know I think he's just really come home. He's felt at home. I think, Webby's given him a lot of love and been like, hey, this is what I need you to do. Go out and do it. And he's just continued to grow at his game. And I think it's not just good for the Warriors, but for the New Zealand Kiwis at the end of the year. Like, they're going to benefit off having Erin Clark back into that jersey. He's going to make that uptick in that area. And as an Australian boy, I'm definitely going to be scared to see how that Kiwi squad's going to look at the end of the year, even though we don't play you guys. So lucky we're playing over in England, so we'll stay over